Welcome in on a Monday. I'm Mugo Odigwe. Moments ago at the White House, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to cut drug prices. The plan, called the, quote, most favored nations policy, directs HHS to slash medication costs to the lowest price paid by other countries. President Trump was joined by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on that announcement. Let's listen.
What we're doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize, where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that and help them. But it's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. And the weight loss drug, Ozempic, costs 10 times more in the United States than in the rest of the developed world. 10 times more. Why? Why? What did we do? Suckers.
CBS News correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now live from the White House. Caitlin, Medicare provides health insurance for roughly 70 million Americans. So how will this order affect them?
Yeah, well, basically what this order does is say that the U.S. will pay what other countries similar to the U.S. are paying, arguing that they are paying at a much lower rate for these same pharmaceutical drugs. And Medicare is a insurance program geared towards elderly, and it is expected to be covered through that. We are waiting to see exactly what some of the details are. This is a campaign promise from the president and also something that Democrats have talked a lot about. But the question is whether it will pass legal muster. He tried to do this during his first term, his first administration, and it was challenged in the courts because they did not go through, in the court's view, the correct procedures in order to enact that. So we'll see if it has any challenges here. There's also a question of, doesn't Congress need to be involved here, given that it would be changing a law? Congress has been pretty averse to getting involved in this. It's faced some skepticism, to say the least, some criticism from Republicans who are concerned about the government essentially setting prices there. So you could see some resistance. But the president was also pretty much daring Democrats to get on board here, given that they have talked favorably about this. The question is whether through executive order or through legislative action.
Okay, we shall see what comes next there. We know President Trump will head to the Middle East today. So what do you expect to come out of that trip over the next 4 days?
Yeah, his first big official foreign trip here. He's visiting Saudi Arabia, which, mind you, was the first trip that he made in his first term as well. Also visiting Qatar and the UAE. This comes as the president is saying that, and the administration is saying that this will be about business deals and bringing U.S. investment, bringing investment over to the U.S. But of course, it also comes as the president is trying to strike a peace deal in the Middle East. We know that the last remaining American hostage, Eden Alexander, being held in Gaza, is supposed to be released today, according to the administration. So we're waiting on that news, kind of hovering over all of this. But this is a significant point because this is the president's first trip. It also, ahead of this trip, Qatar announced that it's considering donating a jumbo jet to the administration that could be used for Air Force One. This is raising a lot of questions about conflict of interests, about potential, as Democrats have put it, potential of a bribe, and whether this is in fact legal. Those are all under considerations, but the president just now in the Oval Office, as he was signing that executive order, appeared very receptive to the idea of taking this gift.
Okay. While we have you here, Caitlin, I have to ask, what can you tell us about this breakthrough on trade negotiations with China just over the weekend?
Yeah, the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was in Geneva, Switzerland over the weekend, working on trying to negotiate with their Chinese counterparts. And they did reach what can be considered a breakthrough here. They are essentially slashing tariffs for about 90 days. The Treasury Secretary reiterated that this is a pause. Remember, last month, the administration issued a 145% tariff on Chinese goods, and in return, the Chinese retaliated and issued a 125% tariff on American goods. So under this deal, the tariff on Chinese goods would be brought down to 30%, and the tariff on U.S. goods would be brought down to 10%. This is obviously welcome news to a lot of U.S. companies. We had seen them stop doing business with China in some respects. Also, we had seen traffic at West Coast ports really diminish over recent weeks. But there are still a lot of questions here about what would go into effect after this 90 days and if, in fact, they are able to work out a very complicated trade deal between the U.S. and China, and also questions about what the U.S. will eventually get out of this.
We shall wait and see. CBS News correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much for joining us on 24/7 today.